So I want to get into the continuation of diet, since people love to focus on diet, even though it's not our most important factor. Remember, we got food is about number 5 on the list, right? Number 1 is your mind. Number 2 is your environment. Number 3 is your posture, and number 4 is exercise. Number 5 is the food. So as far as going for electron flow, because biophysics trumps biochemistry. So when people study food and they look through the research and they're trying to figure out what foods are best for them, one is they don't take account for DNA. But the amazing thing about DNA is because it's a protein, it's a semiconductor for light. And when we look at food and seasons and the latitude you live, being that light is a bigger factor, that means that food has a light signature. So since food has a light signature, it does matter the food that you eat to the latitude you live and to the season. So if you don't have sun, that means you probably need a little bit less carbohydrate. Because do you see fruits and vegetables really grow in the wintertime? You don't. And that's done. Nature did that for a reason. But we've all been disconnected from nature. And the studies don't go down that rabbit hole. So when you're eating pineapples and bananas in Canada, you're causing reductive stress. There's a mismatch to the light signature. We're light beings manifested into physical matter. Remember? Environment's number 2 to the mind. It's the light and electromagnetic fields, non-native electromagnetic fields. Displace gluon force holding the mineral balance together within the cell membrane. The cell membrane has fats in it, but there's a charge to that cell membrane that creates potentiation within the cell and the communication between all those processes of digestion, hormone production, neurotransmitter production, and such in your body. So what does light actually do to us and to produce and to life? It has protons, and they have a charge, and that charge moves electrons, and the electrons flow. So when there's a mismatch and electrons don't flow, that's reductive stress. And everybody focuses on the hormones, but it's really about the cell and the electron flow. Physics trumps biochemistry. But when the electrons don't flow, it affects the cascade of hormones, increasing epinephrine, then cortisol, then histamine, signaling zonulin in the gut, regulating our interstitial space between the cells in the gut, creating leaky gut and autoimmune. Serotonin, which is neurotoxic in high levels, and it increases serotonin. Then it increases estrogen, prolactin, and lactate, disrupting glycolysis, the body's ability to utilize glucose. So because you don't have the light, you don't metabolize glucose as well. And then now we don't make our sex hormones, so DHEA is low, and our T3 doesn't convert in our liver to make our sex hormones. So you can focus on the hormones if you want, and you focus on the food if you want, but it might be a good idea to live at the latitude that's best for you, or figure out how to hack your environment with the right UV light and infrared light on my website. People like me who haven't moved yet that will, because they realize what's happening. They can hack their environment with lighting. They can hack their environment with blocking electromagnetic fields. I painted my bedroom with graphite paint, grounding the wall with copper adhesive. There's a cell tower 270 meters away. I want to sleep. I don't want my sleep disrupted. I want to get in that theta state. I want to be well rested. I want to be able to think clear. I want the cerebrospinal fluid to flow while I sleep, washing over my pineal gland, producing melatonin, which is a daytime hormone really, because it's produced during the day and then released at night. So, and taking it is neurotoxic, so that's not the solution, is to take things. You don't take things endogenous, or you don't take things exogenously that your body makes endogenously. You hack the environment to do these things. You want to live in a natural state. Your body's amazing. It does these things. But because you're disconnected from nature, your body doesn't. And then you're looking for things outside of you, when the answer was already in existence and you never had to take something outside of you exogenously. So it's called the spurty light. You get your UV light, performs sulfation, helps hydrogen sulfate convert to sulfate. If you don't do that, bacteria, yeast, fungus, and mold do it for you and they overgrow. But yet you think you have gut dysbiosis, but all you're missing is UV light. And you can see it in vitamin D levels. But when you take vitamin D, you're taking 25 hydroxy D. That has to convert to 125 hydroxy D through sulfation. So you need UV light. Then you got the infrared light. Comes in the sun, moves electrons. Comes in the evening with the sunset, moves electrons. So you get it yet? It prevents reductive stress. It moves electrons. Holy crap! You didn't need to buy a pill. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just disconnected from nature. You're exposed to the derp state of society in artificial light, 400 nanometer wavelength blue light, LED lighting, and you're exposed to non-native electromagnetic fields. You're away from the magnetosphere. That's all it is. That's why you're sick. That's why you don't feel well. But you only focus on the food and then you don't get better and you keep searching for the herb. But all you needed was sunlight and to be in nature. And experience a little bit of silence. Clear your mind. Let the universe guide you a little bit. Yeah, I see patients and I guide them on this. And I explain to them the reasons why they have a problem and the hormonal cascade that's going on from the gene expression because they're disconnected from nature. They were eating foods that weren't right for the latitude because they didn't have the light signature. So can you see, again, how it's balance? It is balance in all of this. Your cells are semiconductors for light because they're made of proteins. Organisms are semiconductors for light. You need to make your antioxidants, you need two things. You need amino acids and you need minerals that come from the soil that the plants have because they took it out of the soil and they created food for you through photosynthesis. So again, we go back to light. That is a bigger factor than the food. So don't just look at studies and say this food's good, this food's bad per se. But if you get enough sunlight or UV light from the spurty light and a red light panel, you're going to improve your blood glucose. You're going to improve the way the electrons flow. You're going to improve the way the potentiation happens between the cells. You're going to improve your cellular membranes. You're going to sleep better. You're going to feel better. You're going to have better motor control because you're going to regulate glutamate, which is an excitatory neurotransmitter that in excess leads to neurodegenerative diseases, ALS, Parkinson's, and MS. So stop only looking at food and look at the bigger picture. Because it's not just food. Light controls leptin. Leptin controls energy metabolism. Energy metabolism affects insulin. There you go. Now we're back to insulin resistance. And the picture that light plays insulin resistance more than food. When you make energy, there's a systematic process. ATP, ADP, AMP. Monophosphate, diphosphate, triphosphate. Everybody knows, for the most part, what ATP is, because it's regurgitated over and over and over without really understanding the cellular process. They're just like, I need mitochondrial efficiency, but they don't really understand how to do it. And I just gave you the keys to the kingdom of how light plays a role in that picture and how to hack it at ProtouchRehab.com. buying the lights. It's under the shop in the lighting part, in the subcategory. You can get those. And then you can actually make the real changes. Go to ProtouchRehab.com, click on shop, click the subcategory lighting, and get the Spurty light and the Biomax Pro Series infrared light. If you live at a lower latitude, otherwise go outside. Or I'm sorry, if you live at a higher latitude. If you live at a lower latitude, just go outside. It's free. There's no excuse. You got time. You can change your schedule. You can work outside. Most people work on computers now. But you got to get full body exposure. It's not just your eyes make a difference, right? You have a retinal hypothalamic tract. The light goes in the retina. That contacts the thalamus while your sensory nerves meet. But you need full body exposure. Melanopsin receptors are in the stomach and the calves mainly. So you're meant to experience light without clothes. You're meant to experience the cold and the dark and the light and the heat and the different extremes. We're not meant to live in climate controlled facilities without light. Artificial light, that is, that you're getting. And then you're sick. And it creates gene expression. Because while I look at DNA, remember, genes are the gun, but environment pulls the trigger. And the lighting is causing the gene expression. It's leading to the chronic illness and the poor methylation. So if you don't want to be a subject to chronic age-related diseases, go get in the sun. Build up your solar callus. Get light in the morning, get light in the afternoon, and watch the sunset. At a lower latitude. Otherwise, you got to go to my website and get those lights. So don't just think about food and the poisons and toxins of food, because with light, cytochrome oxidase is produced and your body detoxes. What a crazy concept. This could be just so simple to finally experience what real health is like. Instead of driving yourself crazy worrying about the food. Food's further on down on the totem pole. Pay attention to all the factors. But it's further down the totem pole than you can ever understand.